I think for many years, those of us who are lesbians and gay men who are parents have really advocated for our kids and services to recognize our families. And I think increasingly I'm hearing about young people who themselves, quite young children, gender diverse, even if it's just, you know, I don't like those standard girl things. They may continue to grow up and be heterosexual women, but they may just not fit a tight gender mold.
We were thinking, I wonder if it's possible through the local council, because there's things like the Marrickville Hall, for example, which is empty, whether there was a way of having shared meals within our community, and you might have a topic you want to discuss, we could share the food, we could bring food. I would love to do that. Just some way of enabling those of us who don't have families and other communities to go to, that we get to share with each other in that way while we're eating and chatting.
Our survey has shown that there are far more LGBTI older people living alone than in the mainstream population. Many are estranged from family of origin, many are estranged from their own children. So I think we, those of us who are younger, we have to step up to the plate. We have to actively seek out our elders. We owe them. They've paid an incredible price for the privileges that we enjoy today. We have to be their advocates. We have to be their kids, because too often they don't have anyone to do that for them.
Working with the LGBTI community is very important, not only because I think it says underrepresentation of reporting of incidents, and we encourage people to do that, and that's what we're here for, to establish networks and get our information out there to break down the barriers and build trust.
Like, obviously the police would know that there is a lot of people, of young people, who are actually, queer people especially, who are actually afraid as well of the police force, which is why it's great that you guys have like liaison officers and things like that, and that you're here today is a really great way to, you know, show that the police are still always trying to progress, you know, policing practices, and to like engage with the community in a positive way.
Public transport is a massive place where people experience homophobia and transphobia, and I wanted to take the opportunity to, I just whispered to Liz, who at the Gender Centre, who are the clients there, which police do they like? And they said they love Marrickville, they love Newtown, they love Surrey Hills, and they love Auburn and Ermington. That's a really good test in terms of where they're getting a good response. But what I will take from tonight, and I want to talk, probably something to talk to the Mayor about, is actually the safety around train stations, lighting, those kind of things, and looking at what the Police Transport Command are doing within the LGBTIQ communities who travel on public transport and who experience trans and homophobia all the time.
Probably all who live around here know that most councils these days are looking to revitalise what's called the nighttime economy, which primarily means trying to get people into food and beverage venues. And I guess just to note to Marrickville Council that we really need to be careful when we are promoting that kind of opening up of the nighttime spaces, which I absolutely support. That what doesn't happen is that we also then get the danger to GLBTI folk increased as we walk the streets and in the venues there. I mean, I don't want to characterise, but it can be a situation where what you do have is an influx into the area of people who aren't necessarily like-minded because they are coming for the entertainment side of the venue or the food side of the venue, and don't necessarily have the same kind of understanding about the need to treat with respect the people on the street. So if there are any ways that you can kind of, in the licensing or the regulations or just in the kind of training that's done when you're asking people do they want to open up a nighttime venue, just to keep emphasising the GLBTI quality of Marrickville.
I think it's been really good. I think that this sort of event is really important to bring our communities together in an open space so that people can share freely about what's important to them. As a Marrickville Council resident and somebody who works in this sector, the LGBTI sector, some of the key kind of themes that I'm hearing are certainly around ageing, but also around some hesitation around moving forward with trans inclusivity and also intersex inclusivity, which is something that is very different but incredibly important around what it looks like, what this rainbow looks like around LGBTI, and that LGB is not T and I. And that when we say we're LGBTI, that doesn't mean that we are unless we do the work.
One of the issues that people have raised with us is that, and was raised in the forum as well, as around the need for training for medical staff, particularly mental health services. And that's obviously a massive issue for transgender youth who are trying to access different mental health services, which are really not unfriendly and can pose huge issues for their futures.
Tonight's been fantastic. The big issue, of course, is older people in our community and the fear that they have of being openly gay or lesbian or trans and what that means as they get older. But I think it's important that we're talking about it now, and Sujay, as ever, it always gives us hope that things are changing and things are getting better. For next year, though, I'd also like to see probably a bit more focus on the under 30s. We've got a huge young GLBTI community here. They're not necessarily really into coming into forums, but I would like to hear from them because I think they have a different voice that perhaps isn't being heard tonight.